Now let's move to our next very important topic, that is difference between equality versus equals method. Guys, equality is nothing but an operator. We have double equal sign, that is known as equality, and equals is a method which is there inside object class. And both of them are behaving in the same manner. Technically, if I talk about their differences, equality is an operator and equals is a method. So obviously method is going to behave like a method, means you have to pass some argument and that will return something. And equality is just going to perform direct comparison between left and right operands. So that's a you can say syntax difference between them. But there are some other differences are also associated with them. So that we will try to understand what is the other difference between both of them by the implementation. By this first implementation, I am just first showing you what are the similarities in both of them. Okay. What I am doing is I'm creating two different objects of my class, and then I'm trying to compare both of them. Okay. As you guys know, object 1 is holding the reference of first object and object 2 is holding the reference of second object. Both are containing the object references. So when I'm perform comparison in if condition using equality operator, if both reference are equal, then it will say true, and if both are not equal, it will say false. Obviously both object references are different. That means the second else condition will execute and false will print. Okay. Now, in the second condition, I'm comparing both of the objects using equals method. Equals method is coming from the object class. That means a default implementation of equals method is going to execute here. Okay. And let's see what it will behave. Let me run this program. And now you can see I'm getting both places false. That means that there is no difference between equality operator and default implementation of equals method. Default implementation of equals method means equals method that is defined inside the object class. That is a default implementation. So that also used to compare the values or reference, whatever you are putting both side, it is going to just compare that irrespective to what are the type of values are there, whether those are the references or values. It will behave as same as equality operator does. Now the question is then where is the difference between both of them? There's no difference between both of them. With the default implementation of equals method and equality operator, there's no difference. There's no doubt about it. But additionally, the major advantage of using equals is you can override equals method in your child class and can change the behavior of equals. For example, as of now, I'm calling equals method that is coming from object class. But if I want to compare some values of these two objects in case, then I can override equals method and change its behavior. Okay, and then it will start comparing the values which I am comparing in that equals method, and then accordingly it will start behaving. I'll show you that with an example to explain you the need of overriding equals method. I'm taking this another scenario where I have a student class which is holding name and roll number, and I'm instantiating the object by constructor. Okay, now let's suppose if I want to compare two student objects. Okay, in that case, if I'm comparing s1 equals s2, it is start comparing the references. But if the references are same, then only it will say that the object is duplicate. But from my business perspective, I'm not interested to compare the references when I'm comparing two student objects. I actually want to compare some ID which is basically tell me that whether these objects are identical, whether these objects are duplicate or those are different. Okay, so if I directly use the default implementation of equals method or equality method, it will start comparing the references of both objects, and that doesn't make any sense from my business perspective. From my business perspective, I want to compare some ID or something. So what I need to do is I need to change the behavior of equals method by overriding equals method in my student class. And that's what I am doing here. I'm overriding equals method, taking the student object and comparing the roll number. Roll number is nothing but registration number or some ID kind of thing. If both are not equals, then only it will return false. Otherwise it will return true. Then in here I'm creating three students object, and then I'm comparing the two of the object. Let's suppose for demo 1 and demo 3, these two objects, the name and the ID is same. That means the objects are duplicate. And in that case, I actually want to perform something. Okay, so I'm comparing them using equals method. And when I call equals method, the overridden equals method is going to execute, which is there inside student class, and that will compare the registration number or roll number of both of the objects, and based on that it will say true or false. So because both roll numbers are same, then it is going to say true. Let me run this. You can see it is saying true. But if I do not override this equals method, then what it is going to do, it is going to compare the references, which is again false. But from my business perspective, that doesn't make any sense. I want to actually compare the roll number to make sure that object must not be identical. Okay, so this is how equals methods helps you to change the behavior of comparison.